we are live in the building with my boy J Tuck and West Coast. Man, it's an honor to have you guys on the show. Appreciate
Man, thanks
y'all
for having me.
for having your time, taking your time from your family to be with us today. Um, how's everybody doing?
Good, good, man. I don't know if I've come down from the Caleb Downs high now. Yeah, it still feels surreal. I'm still in disbelief, man. But I'm excited. I really think the Cowboys are taking their foot in the right direction, which we'll talk about here in a second. So I feel good. I'm one of the weird people, and you guys can chime in on this. I like when football season's over personally because it gives me a massive break. Like I feel like I get like extra days back on my life. So draft is over, all that research that built up to the draft. I tell people it's like studying for an exam. And then once you take the test, you kind of forget everything. So my mind's been clear. I'm working on some other things, man. So I feel good, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for being there today because I was like, man, I'm gonna shoot my shot and see if he wants to join us.
Oh,
so it's a,
people know, man. Especially Wes, man. We've done this for so long, man. People just reach out to me and ask me, man. It's all love. I do it regardless. I'm talking about Cowboys. I was just talking about it on Twitter. I just did a TikTok live, so like talking Cowboys is what I do, man. So anytime someone wants to have me for the opportunity to speak
so
Cowboys and talk about what I love, man, I'm all for it if
tell
my
us a little
schedule
bit
permits.
about what you do, the CFO.
Yeah, man. So CFO Sports. So started my channel on YouTube in 2020. Originally it's called Cowboys Fans Only. It was really just something to do during the pandemic, you know. But
Right.
things kind of just steamrolled, man, to a lot of great opportunities. Met a lot of people who turned into more than just content creator friends. It's been more like brotherhoods. Wes, Boss, Lou. The list goes on and on. DMV, like it's just been an amazing sort of experience, and it gives me the opportunity to speak to thousands of Cowboys fans. Living in Kansas City, right? I'm in championship territory, so it's not really often where I see a lot of Cowboys fans. So it's been a huge blessing to be able to just turn on my ring light, turn on my camera, and just talk to thousands of Cowboys fans and get our thoughts off and share our passion. And due to that, I've been blessed to do a lot of incredible things. Super Bowls, drafts, combines, boxing, as Wes just mentioned, you name it. So it's been an amazing experience.
Uh, you mute, brother. Mike, you mute, man.
I think you're on mute. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm a fan for sure. I'm a fan of you, man. I
Appreciate
watch
it.
a lot of your content myself, so yeah, man. So let's get it going. We kind of had some questions we were gonna ask. If you want to go ahead, Ken, and just ask West Coast and J Tuck these questions, and we'll just kind of be the host and let them talk.
Yeah. So Tuck, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a personal connection with Anthony Hill Jr.'s father, right?
Yeah, so funny story. Anthony Hill, it makes me feel old as hell. So Anthony Hill, his dad was my college teammate. So we played together at Emporia State University. We came in the same class. So he played on the defensive side of the ball with me. So and honestly, I grew up with his mother. So she went to the same church. So I'm very close to the family. I was there when he was being born and everything, so it's kind of crazy to see now he's going to the Tennessee Titans. But taking that out of the context, I know a lot of people wanted to kind of coin that to me. I think he's a phenomenal player, man. This is a kid who I've watched since little league, high school, all the way up through college, and he's pretty much dominated. A lot of people don't know he was a running back. He ran track. He did, his dad was sending me his stats like, oh yeah, junior rush for 150 and 2 touchdowns and had three. I'm like, what? Hold on, like what do you mean he rushed for 150 and 3 touchdowns and had 3 sacks? Like, because he played for Denton Ryan out there in Dallas, and they won the championship classic. They played at AT&T Stadium. He had a photo with Jerry Jones. So incredible player, man. But I'm extremely proud of him. I know they are proud of him. Really good player, and I'm excited to see him play at the NFL level.
So I don't know if you've seen this, but I think I read if the Cowboys were wiped out and Malachi Lawrence wasn't there, they were going to lean more towards C.J. Allen. So do you think that would have been a wrong move? Do you think C.J. would have Anthony Hill probably would have been a better fit for us?
It depends on what you're looking for. Now, I do understand our linebacker coach does have a tie to CJ Allen coming from Georgia. So I understand it. And then the differences between the two, right? I felt like CJ Allen, Jacob Rodriguez, those were your middle linebacker, your conductors play from the eyebrows up, right? I feel like Jacob Rodriguez is a little bit more athletic than CJ Allen, so I had him over CJ Allen. But if you want a guy to really command your defense, get everybody in the proper spot, be your quarterback, that would be CJ Allen. The only reason why I would have probably about it because at 11, we drafted a guy that could do the same thing, right? So, but I do understand, why it would have made sense for the Dallas Cowboys and CJ Allen. But for me, what I was looking for was to bring into a veteran middle linebacker / green dot guy, right? And then my young guys, complete havoc, game records, super athleticism, run, see, hit. Now, we didn't get Anthony Hill Jr., but we'll talk about a kid that we did get at the University of Michigan that I think is going to fit that role. So that, I would have understood CJ Allen, but me personally, I would have probably went a few different options. But at that point, right, if we did trade back and did the trade back like the Cowboys originally wanted, I wouldn't have been so mad at it, but I would have probably leaned towards Jacob Rodriguez at that spot or Anthony Hill Jr.
Gotcha.
Nice. So you want to? What's your questions on your list? You want to ask a few of those real quick?
For sure, yeah. So with that being said, what position group do you think that is gonna struggle, or what position group do you think is gonna kind of be a red flag going into the season?
Red flag is a great question, right? I think I don't want to say it's a red flag, but it is a concern for me. I would still say cornerback, right? Because if you're looking at it, you have Kobe Durant. What is DaRon Bland really going to be? We just brought in Adoree Jackson. We brought in Kendrickson. So there's a lot of, I think we're throwing a lot at the window, but nothing feels solidified. Now, technically, Caleb Downs would be our nickel for the Cowboys, so I think that's solidified. But who's going to be our outside boundary guys? Me personally, I feel like DaRon Bland has struggled on the boundary. So if you can't move him inside, what are you going to do with them? Siobhan Revel showed a lot of promise. We'll see how that translates in his year 2. But there was a guy that we really like in Devin Moore that we drafted at the University of Florida. And this is a guy, right? He has the size, he has the athleticism, just the injury history that's been the main mark on him. But I think that Moore could be a guy that as we gear up for camp and get out there in Oxnard, we'll definitely keep our eyes on and be like, hey, man, he's showing some upward promise because he played over 1,000 snaps, 0 penalties, so very sound in his technique. And I feel like he was a top 50 value if you take the injuries away, but we're able to get him in the 4th round. So, cornerback is still a question mark. And then for me personally, I still am concerned about left tackle specifically. And I know a lot of people freaked out when I said that, right? Because they thought Jay Tuck was advocating to draft a tackle in the 1st round. That wasn't what I was saying. I was like, let's go get a free agent. But, when it comes to Tyler Guyton, it's year 3. He showed some signs, right? But you think about it, he's had a lot of injury history. The penalties still amount. He was pretty much top in the league in pressures allowed last year, and he played half the amount of games. And then what really alarmed me about Tyler Guyton was last year when we kicked Tyler Smith out to left tackle. Brian Schottenheimer was asked this. I don't think a lot of people caught this. He said, we expect to get Tyler Guyton back, but when Tyler Guyton returns, he is our swing. Basically saying when he comes back, he's not going to be our left tackle, and Tyler Smith is going to finish the season at left tackle. So that leads me to kind of believe there's not a lot of confidence there as well. So that's 2 different coaching staffs in some type of way. They just didn't speak highly about Tyler Guyton. We had Duke Manyweather, who's pretty much the offensive line guru. He said that he has a lot of work to do. So for me, it's like, okay, if that doesn't work out, who's going to protect Dak Prescott's blind side? And that still remains a question mark. But we did draft a guy out of Penn State in Shelton that has a lot of promise, but still, I think left tackle for me personally is a question mark as well.
Yeah, so
we got to protect our asset. We got to protect our asset for sure.
Right? Yeah. Because it's phenomenal as Caleb Downs is in the draft, and Rashawn Gary and all that fun stuff. But Dak goes down, season done. So protect that. That's the number one thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's got to be solidified for sure. Yeah, and I think I like it too because I think it brings it. What about you, West Coast?
Dude, I wanted to know, like, when we drafted our 20th pick, half the world went crazy. Half the world didn't go crazy because they didn't even know who he was. But I want to know, what was your thoughts on us drafting Lawrence, and do you think he? I mean, what are your opinions of him?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that, Wes, because I was talking about Malachi Lawrence. I made a video a few days before the draft, like, hey, circle this kid's name, because I knew our assistant defensive line coach, he comes from UCF. So I watched a lot of UCF football, because I covered the Big 12 as well. So he's an older prospect, right? He's not like 25 or anything like that, right? I think he's 23. He does have pass rushing nuance. So I'll say this, and it sounded crazy when I said it, but I showed the film session. When you look at his pass rushing technique, outside of Reuben Bain, he's probably the most sound pass rusher in the draft, and especially that would have been at that spot. So you do have a guy, he has the size, he has the length that Christian Parker has spoken about. He can put his hand in the dirt. He can also stand up as well, because the multiple front that will probably run in Dallas is going to be what they had back at UCF as well, right? So I think he just fit the mold. And once Akeem Messidor West got off the board, I was like, okay, then you're talking about the Keldrick folks, the Zion Youngs, the Malachi Lawrences. I think that he really made sense. And for the fact that we were able to trade back with our ops, get 2 4th-round picks, you know what I'm saying, and still get the guy we were taking anyways, I think it was an incredible steal, because he does have upside. Now, do I think he's going to be lighting the league on fire, sack God? We're going to be buying Malachi Lawrence jerseys next year? Probably not. But I think he's going to be a good rotational guy that's going to give us some upside value. Rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon. I think he kind of fits that mold versus the Micah Parsons mold. But he reminds me of a guy that Vic Fangio had at his time during Philly, which is when I'm a Knoll, right? So Florida State, Josh Sweat. He feels like Josh Sweat to me. So he feels like Christian Parker kind of got that tweener guy, right? He can handle the run a little bit, not really too big. He probably needs a little bit of weight room, but he can definitely get upfield, get after the quarterback. And I think that what BT Jordan can do with the skill set that he already has in the toolbox, I think it's going to be great value. So I like the Malachi Lawrence pick, especially where we're at. I mean, honestly, looking at it, if I were going to nitpick it and say I would have went in a different direction, I would have probably mentioned Jacob Rodriguez or Anthony Hill Jr., but that would probably been a little bit earlier for a linebacker because we didn't have a 2nd-round pick. But if we would have took like Keldrick Folk, I would have probably been a little bit more upset. If we would have took, even though I liked Zion Young out of Missouri, I would probably been as kind of a reach. So I was perfectly fine with them getting Malachi Lawrence at that trade back spot.
Well, my dream draft was Rodriguez and Caleb Downs, y'all.
You were almost there.
Yeah, that was my dream. I was pretty upset when they didn't. I thought they were going to pick him at 23, or one of those linebackers I thought they were going to get, and they didn't, and they went the other way. But I understand positional value. So,
well, the funniest thing was, I mean, you guys were all the same, right? We probably ran 1,000 mock draft simulators, and every time, like, I just knew that 2nd-round cliff, like they were going to get sniped, but I didn't expect it to go like it did in real life. Like when Jake Golday went, I was just like, man, and then Josiah Trotter went early. I was like, all right, man, these lines, he's like, because I had Josiah Trotter kind of circle, like, okay, that's a guy that might be there in the 3rd round. Like, nope, he was gone. Jake Golday went. It's just like, all right, there's a massive run on linebacker right here in that 2nd round.
I think Barham might end up being a better value than all those guys because he can do both. He's versatile, maybe.
But we'll talk about it if you guys want to. But I'm kind of concerned about that, but we'll see. We'll talk about it. So.
I think they wanted a vet, though. That's why they brought in D. Winter.
Right.
They were trying to get the guy from the Dolphins.
But is he though? I think they still need a green dot, though, right? I don't know if D. Winters was a green dot in San Francisco.
So here's what people have to understand, right? A green dot doesn't have to be a linebacker. I mean, you think about J-Ron Curse, he was our green dot for the longest, right? Now, ideally, you want it to be your linebacker because he's kind of close in the chain of command, right? In the communication versus, like, let's say Caleb Downs is, but he's split coverage up high, right? To get the six. So, you ideally you want your communicator being the linebacker. He's in the center of everything. I just don't think we have that, right? I was looking for our LVE, our Sean Lee. I was looking for that type of linebacker, and I still feel like that's the hole in the wall. But maybe Christian Parker doesn't need it. I know Koye's done film on it. I've spoken about it. Where Albert Wilson, typically where he goes, our defensive line coach, right? you really don't have to have top elite linebackers if you have a good front up front that can keep them clean. You just want them to be able to run, see, hit. So, we'll have to see how this all translates and unpacks, but for me, I know us as Cowboys fans, last year the big narrative was what? We got to stop the run, and Dan Quinn like little linebackers. Well, I'm looking at our linebackers, and they kind of little, so it's like, so we'll see.
What do you think about Overshown? Do you think
so Overshown, I think this is his year to really show and prove, right? He had some injuries. He went and got hired Dave Mulligetta, who's the money getter, the Thanos of the Dallas Cowboys and the fan base. I think it's really time for him to show and prove that he is a guy, what I call that not a jag, right? Not just a guy, but he's a guy that you can really build around, and he's a pillar of the future of the Dallas Cowboys defense. But I was saying this, and I might just make a video off of it. I feel like the guy we did draft out of Michigan, he could push Overshown out of here, because the things that Overshown does great, I think that's where Barham really comes into play. Sideline to sideline, high motor, scraping, blowing everything up, right? So I think he fits that mold. Plus, he's a little bit bigger and he's built for it. People forget that Overshown was a safety at Texas, converted to linebacker. So he's kind of that tweener mold, but this is the year for, I feel like, Overshown to really step up and improve, right? I think we're past the stories, right? Okay, your knee cut, like it's been very unfortunate, but now I feel like it's really time to show and prove. So he has to prove that he's a guy that's a pillar of this defense, not just an extra additional piece. So we'll just sit back and wait and see, but he'll definitely be one to focus on because it's payday, right, for him.
Oh yeah, especially with his knee being 2 years. It usually takes a couple years for your knee to heal fully, So 1 year you're just kind of getting used to it, and then the next year you're usually a lot better. But yeah, I think he's going to be better than he was last year. Hopefully, if not, then look to him not getting a deal, with the new agent that he hired, Mulligetta. So
with him hiring Mulligetta, it also lets you know that he's okay with one. When you go get Mulligetta, like, he's just not being agents with anybody. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he hired him as an agent lets me know that he's, I mean, obviously it's bag season, like Tuck said, but he's about to purposely try to run it up. You know what I'm saying? And he also understands that bag is not going to be in Dallas. You know what I mean? So but I tell people, he definitely not going to be a Cowboy next year, because if he runs it up, he's going to price himself out of Dallas. And if he doesn't run it up, then he's not going to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? So whatever he does this year, hopefully being positive, the Cowboys will benefit from it. We just need to make sure that, like, to be honest with you, like, I ain't trying to be all like cowboy-ishy, but these are the type of motivation facts you need on a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. You need a dude that, on a 1-year deal that's trying to prove it to the NFL that he's that dude, because guess what? We can, I know y'all don't like this word, but we can exploit that. You know what I'm saying? We can exploit that to our advantage. And like, when you go look at these teams that win the Super Bowl, they have these players that are good, but they also have these players that have these ridiculous incentives. And that's why a lot of times after teams win Super Bowls, a lot of players go different places. Why? Because, the whole purpose of them not necessarily playing well was to win a Super Bowl, what is to showcase their talent. So, I kind of, I like the fact that I hate it for him, but as a Cowboy fan, I love it for us. You know what I'm saying? Because he has, like, if there was any other year where he may be like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm not going to work, it ain't gonna be this year. You know what I'm saying? I can almost guarantee you, unless his leg is falling off his bone, he gonna try to play 17 games. You know what I'm saying?
So a lot of time to make up.
So, and guess what? Like, if we can't, and this is the thing, I don't believe that the Cowboys, with him hiring David Mulligetta, I think there was definitely some, like, because he could have waited to the end of the season to do this. You know what I'm saying? But for him to do it right now with everything that's going on with Dave, like, I feel like that was his way of saying, I'm going to go get this bag. And the Cowboys are, we just need to be recipients of it, recipients of the fact that he about to go get a big bag somewhere else. But guess what? You got to have stats, baby. You got to have stats, and you got to play 17 games. So let's just benefit from it. Let's run it up this year.
Right. Yeah, that's the yin and the yang, I'll say, Wes, right? Because as fans, right, we want just to win, right? So we don't care about the player from that standpoint, right? So if we can get him for low, and I'm kind of speaking about George Pickens, right? I see a lot of Cowboys fans, we're just celebrating. He's franchise tag, right? So we know that he's just going to be in Dallas, right? So we want him to come out, put his life on the line, jump, hurdle over players, right, and play just on the franchise tag and try to prove himself. Where we never really focus on the player aspect. We don't care that he ain't got no future security. Like, that's not our priority. So it's like that's the divide. So I feel like from the Cowboys standpoint, like you're saying, Wes, we got to be able to actually take advantage of it. And I feel like that was the problem last year, is that we had George Pickens pretty much on a franchise tag for the low. He went there and balled out, and it didn't translate to anything, right, from a win standpoint. So now we're saying, okay, well, let's try to run that back and do it again. So we got to strike now, right? And that's why I've been trying to preach. Go right now. Like, put the chips in right now, because you don't want Overshown to have this crazy balling out season where he's going to be all pro and we are 8-win team. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, don't let it go to waste.
Absolutely. Yep. So, who do you think is going to start at corner? That's my biggest question. Like, who's going to be the starting corners in your opinion? And is it going to be Ravel and Bland just because they get the first shot at it? Or do you think Kobe Durant will start over Ravel?
It better not be Siobhan Revel. Kobe Durant gonna hold this number 2 hostage. He better be a starter. You know what I'm saying? He better be prime. We better be saying Durant Island, all sorts of stuff. You know what I'm saying? If he gonna hold this number 2 hostage. But
Durant
I
Island.
feel like yeah, man, like, you know what I'm saying? He can't, man. I wish
he
he
better
would
be
get beat
playing
out.
like Kevin Durant.
Yeah, if he holds that number 2 from Caleb Downs and he gets beat out by Siobhan Revel, I'm gonna be his worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? But I think Kobe Durant naturally will be your starter on the outside. I do think Deron Bland will be your other starter on the outside, not due to production, not due to confidence, more likely due to contract. So I think contract will keep him safe. And then Siobhan Revel will kind of work in between in there. And then you'll have Caleb Downs as kind of your inside nickel guy from that standpoint. But if I had to gauge, I think Kobe Durant and Deron Bland will be our outside.
So with that being said, with bringing in the new guy today,
Dory Jackson,
who's the odd man out now? Because this is a lot of corners in here. I mean, I thought Josh Butler was going to get a chance. Kalen Carson was going to get a chance. Does this look like Christian Parker is trying to push out these old backup corners for us and bring his guys in?
Yeah, I think the Kalen Carsons, who's wearing number 21, right, is on cut alert. The Traquise Reed Bridges, the Josh Butlers. I think Reddy Stewart will probably be safe for the most part. But I think yes, I think
Blackquez Bridges, is he gonna stay?
Traquise Reed Bridges, Kalen Carson, and like Butler, those guys will probably be.
A lot of people were excited for Josh Butler, man. I hope he makes it. But
like I said, it's a brand new staff, right? And Christian Parker is coming in young and hungry, and he has to show and prove, right? If we hire Christian Parker and his brand new staff, and let's say first 4 to 5 games, defense still looks it's going to be loud, right? So I feel like Christian Parker is going to come in, and I think when it comes to Dory Jackson, is guys he's familiar with. The same thing kind of like with Jalen Thompson, right? It's guys that our safety coach is familiar with. You're going to get your guys. Now, are they traditionally Cowboys guys? I personally think of Dory Jackson was barbecue chicken every time I see them play, but Christian Parker probably just wants his guys. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates. But I think those guys that mentioned, the Carsons, the Bridges, the Butlers, will probably be the ones that's fighting to stay afloat in Dallas.
Maybe they'll make special teams.
Hey, Tuck, to Dory Jackson's defense, he has the Darius Slay disease.
Okay. All right. So
Darius Slay, what I mean is this. Darius Slay, from what I hear, was a pretty damn good corner. He was all right when he played against other teams. But whenever he played this team with the star on his head, they burned the hell out that boy, man.
It was funny to say that, Wes, because it's like, damn, bro.
We
I know
bodied Adoree.
I'm trying to be excited about Christian Parker, but I'm like, shit. Every time we played him, that card they secondary up.
Carved him, bro. But and you know what I was thinking? This is what I was thinking about with Adoree, right? When I first heard about it, I was thinking like, dang, like he kind of small. Like I see why he's the type of corner that will fit well. Like the type of corner if the receivers I would put him on like a Cavante Turpin. I'm gonna be honest with you. But like not Dez. I don't know why I'm thinking about Dez so much. But CeeDee Lamb is gonna body him, bro. He's gonna body him. You know what I'm saying? George Pickens is gonna body him. Floyd Noy in the end zone is gonna body him. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was thinking like
Trigg definitely gonna body him.
But he a tight end, you know what I'm saying? But Adoree Jackson, his like I've known Adoree since high school. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
High school to USC, all the way. And I'm gonna keep it 100. I didn't think he was gonna get drafted in the first round as a corner. I thought he was gonna get as a specialist. So that kind of blew me away. You know what I'm saying? That he even got drafted as where he did. But his speed, his feet, he's a track dude too. Track dudes know how to take care of their body. I'll always say that. The Olympic athletes, they know how to take care of their body better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think Tyreek Hill is going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? But he's a track dude. So he knows how to take care of his body. Do we make this team? I don't know. If he do make this team, I would think it's a situational. He's a situational corner, but he's not a dude. The real reason why I think you would bring him in is because I know you don't like Siobhan Rivel, or maybe you do, but Tuck, I went like 3:00 in the morning. My stomach started hurting. I had to go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I'm always looking for fun stuff to watch. I go on YouTube. I type in Siobhan Rivel. I ain't watched this tape in a long time. Bro, the boy tape is nasty, bro. I see why the Cowboys is giving him opportunity. Like, his tape is nasty, man.
Because college?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
NFL tape is not very good.
Yeah, but I mean, he ain't the same. He's not like, what happened with him? Do you think like he's not the same player from college than he was?
I mean,
like it was the defensive coordinator we had last year, in my opinion. But
it was probably the knee one because he had the setback.
Bro, he was a violent corner. He's a violent corner in college.
I think one was the knee. I think they tried to rush him back too soon. To be honest with you. So it'd be if you can get who he was in college, right? It could be scary. And also remember we got Darion Kendrick as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's another corner that you can toss into that fire as well. You know what I'm saying?
Battles in that cornerback room, man.
So it's a lot of it's like they're throwing and where I think Kendrick is only like 25, like 20. So he's still fairly young as well. So they're really throwing a bunch at the wall when it comes to our cornerback rooms. What leads me to believe y'all not too, sold on it either, and I think that's another thing that, some people who were kind of anti, I guess, the Malachi Lawrence pick, because you did have Chris Johnson from you had some of those corners available. So maybe the Cowboys could have went corner, but I just felt like at that point, I didn't see someone who was completely instant starter. I felt like, even if you would me personally, I would like Adrian Terrell, but he's going to be your nickel, so you don't need that. So it's like those guys outside, it was kind of bleak anyway. So, but I think corner's going to be something we definitely keep our eye on. But if I had to gauge it, Kobe Durant and Deron Bland will be starting on the outside. But then, like Wes was saying, let's say we play Philly. I don't want Deron Bland on AJ Brown. So who's going to take that matchup, right? Who's going to take the big physical wide receivers that we have to line up against this season? I don't know. So
hey, I got one more question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
With the draft pick, Caleb Downs out of Ohio State, his ex-coach at Alabama, Nick Saban, said that you need to just let him line up at free safety and play. That would be his best position. And Dallas is trying to put him at a nickel, and so I just don't. That's not going to – I mean, he says he can play that, but that's not his best strength. You know what I'm saying? So I guess they're trying to start Thompson and Hooker. But I guess if Hooker gets hurt again, Caleb Downs could come in and take his spot. But what's your opinion on that, on him playing in the nickel instead of –
I personally want him at nickel because – of the impact that he's able to have, right? Because you think about if he's playing in free, I can just run some seams and kind of just pull you out the play, right, and kind of keep you distracted. Versus the nickel, I want him in run support. I want him on slants. I want
Or
him
strong
underneath.
safety. Yeah, I meant strong.
Yeah,
Strong.
So
I meant strong, where he can
yeah,
come
yeah. So
down.
strong, right? So yeah, I want him at the line of scrimmage, playing around the box. But then sometimes you can rotate to free, right? He can play the robber, meaning he might start off in a cover 2. He might drop down. So I want him around the ball versus just being our rooftop guy, because if not, the impact is minimized.
Coming down and reading those wide receiver screens and
exactly
making those tackles. Yeah,
exactly. The run support, all that, those slants, all that stuff, those hooks. I want him around the ball versus I'd rather have. I think Jalen Thompson was a really sneaky good signing for Dallas Cowboys, and I can trust him over the top. Versus I feel like we didn't have the athleticism last year.
I could see him jumping some routes, man, and getting a pick 6 to the house or something.
Facts.
At that position. If
safety,
everybody does their job.
And that free safety, if he's a sole free safety, you don't draft him there at free safety.
Who's going to play free safety? Thompson or Hooker?
Free safety zone. And I'm going to tell you, the Cowboys, I don't think they'll ever, they love Roy Williams, but I don't think they'll ever draft a true safety that high ever again in the first round.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Not for a while.
But hey, I do got a question though before you get up out of here though. Shoot, and it's gonna be a little crazy question, but the Cowboys got to start the game. We have to play a game today. Mm-hmm. We have to play a game today. It's a 2-part question. I want to know your starting defense in a 3-4 base, and then your starting defense, and I ain't gonna say a 4-3, but I think we're gonna be running like something with something with a nickel. You know what I'm saying?
5-2.
So whatever, 5-2, or you know what I mean. People call it different, but give me but our base defense in the 3-4, and then your base defense with the nickel.
All right, so I'm gonna start edge Rashawn Gary. Then I'm gonna do Quentin Williams. Outside other end will probably be Malachi Lawrence. Yes, probably Malachi Lawrence. So it'd be your other edge, and then your linebacker outside Overshown. Some traditional 3-4. Damn. Overshown Winners, Barham. And then who am I missing? I think you probably have Donovan Izaraku.
Yeah.
On that. And then corners, right? Kobe Durant and Deron Bland. Safeties would be Thompson and Downs in your traditional 3-4.
Okay.
Nickel, I'm pretty much keeping things the same, except I'm subbing in Malik Hooker. And then your 2 will probably be Overshown and D Winters as far as your linebackers per se.
Who was your starting outside your corners? Bland and who?
Bland and Kobe Durant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll probably go there. So I think when it comes to it, right, it's going to be a multiple front. I think people got caught up in the 3-4, so you're going to see a lot of nickel, right? But you're going to have principles, and I think I know Christian Parker said it's not going to be the Eagles' defense or the Vic Fangio's defense, bro. This is your first time being a defensive coordinator. You're going to lean on to what you know. You know what I'm saying? You're going to lean on what you know, bro. So you're going to lean on to the things that Vic Fangio taught you and your mentor taught you. So it's going to be pretty much a 3-4. It'll probably be more of a 2-gap 3-4 versus the 1-gap 3-4. I mean, sorry, not 2-gap, a gap and a half 3-4 versus the 1-gap 3-4. So, but you'll see a lot of 3-4 principles, but you'll see multiple fronts, right? You'll see 5-man fronts. I think it's going to be depending on the matchups. I think even Matt Eberflus did that last year, and I think Christian Parker will as well, right? It might be a team where you can't play a base 3-4. You're going to need more corners, more safeties out there. So it might require a lot more nickel. So I think he'll have that flexibility.
Okay, last question. I'm gonna say one more question, I promise.
Are you good?
All right. What's your thoughts on the tight end room and they bum asses?
So I know a lot of people are super fans of Michael Trigg. I like Michael Trigg. Coming out of Baylor, I don't think he's going to crack tight end one, right? As much as I like to say, it's not Jake Ferguson's job isn't in jeopardy. I do not think that Span 4's job is in jeopardy. Could Schoonmaker be in jeopardy? Possibly. And here's what I'll say about that, right? When you watch Michael Trigg, I did the film breakdown, love the kid. Wes, I've been looking for a versatile, athletic tight end for the longest. So he was pretty much, right, exactly, right. So he's pretty much was used as a wide receiver in Baylor, right? So, he was sometimes running point and bunch formations, all that fun stuff, right? But when it came to doing tight end things, blocking, right? There's a lot of issues. And I watched my films and I broke down my film session. There's a lot of times you saw linebackers, safeties, all putting him in the dirt, right? So I feel like if he is going to want to take Schoonmaker's job, he has the ability to do so, but he's going to have to start focusing on those dirty, grimy, tight end things, because just being a wide receiver is not going to do it in Dallas, right? We got Ryan Flo. I mean, we got a new wide receiver every day, right? So I think for Michael Trigg, if he's going to take Schoonmaker's spot, he's going to have to definitely drastically improve in his blocking ability and get a little bit more tougher doing the dirty things versus the fun one-head catches and all that stuff. We got George Pickens for that. So
he needs to go hang out with Tyler Booker for the weekend, man.
Yeah. He just needs to. I mean, he just needs
and
to.
BT Jordan.
he just needs to get into that bag, right? And I know he was the highest paid UDFA, and I know he's pretty much the darling amongst Cowboys fans. But when you watch the blocking aspect, the tight end stuff, it was just like, that ain't gonna cut it, bro. Like that's that's not gonna cut it, right? So, but he's athletic as all get out. So
hang out with the offensive lineman for a week. He'll be good.
Yeah, as a tight end. So, and then also you got to understand, right? Even though he's a fullback, Hunter Lipke really classifies as a tight end as well, because sometimes you can put him up on the line as well. So sometimes when you go on 13 personnel, so I'm not really concerned about tight end. The main concern for me, and I made a video on it yesterday, and I know we got Mr. Run the Damn Ball here. I really want a RB2 in Dallas, a real one. Not a hope and dream, not a wish upon a star. I know a lot of people, they're like, oh no, Jaden Blue can be it. I'm like, Jaden Blue stood up Brian Schottenheimer for dinner just a month ago. So I still can't trust him. You see what I'm saying? So really? I know Phil Maffa has shown some promise. I liked Israel Bandaconda coming out of Pitt, but he really hasn't transpired at the NFL level. Malik Davis played well coming off the couch. I'm probably the one that sold Malik Davis fans, but I feel like if you're able to go get a guy, and the guy that I mentioned, like James Conner out of Arizona, I feel like that could really tip the scale for the Dallas Cowboys, right? I feel like that could be a dominant 1-2 punch, because you don't want to bank on Javonte Williams taking all the punishment. Someone that can rotate, take one game. When we're playing into, well, I don't want to jinx it, because those are games we normally lose. I'm gonna say like, oh, game versus the Cardinals or something like that, but the Cardinals beat our ass. So I'll chill in the Cardinals. But one of those games, right? It doesn't have to be so heavily on Javonte. You have a good veteran duo running back tandem, because I think that's what Shotty really wanted last year until Miles Sanders went down. I would like to bring in a good veteran guy, and I think that James Conner would be the fit. I know some people mentioned Alvin Kamara, but it's going to cost a little too much. I know we act like we broke. So, but I think that would probably tip the scale for the Dallas Cowboys offensively and just from a winning standpoint.
Especially with playing the NFC West, the 49ers, the Seahawks.
That's exactly why I listed him. He a guy that comes from the NFC West. I'm like, oh, we playing in San Fran in playoffs. It's easy work, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't played them 2 times a year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Seattle, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want one of those guys. I feel like for some reason when we see San Fran, we see those teams, we kind of just get to, I don't know, star-eyed or whatever it is. James Conner, like, bro, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? Behind this offensive line, and you got to have light boxes, because if not, CD and Pickens is going to eat. So, yeah, bro, that's
the only team in the NFC West we haven't stole from. We've already got Kobe Durant from, the Rams. We got Kendrick from the Seahawks. We got Winners from the 49ers. Now we just need to get James Conner from Arizona. Right. We'll be Gucci.
Facts.
We got Jalen.
Exactly. So I guess we got Jalen Thompson, yeah.
Well, Jalen, I forgot Jalen Thompson. Dang, my bad.
Yeah.
But that was kind of smart. I think the Dallas Cowboys kind of strategically did that. They looked at the players that were playing, and plus those are good teams as well. But
Mhm.
or maybe it just coincidentally ended up being like that. But that's pretty crazy how like a lot of the teams that we play, we have players from those teams. You know,
It also
it's kinda,
lets you know about the status of the how that conference values defense, because we took everybody that we took sounds like a defensive player. You know what I'm saying? You know that conference, and let's just be real. Like I would love. I'm gonna have to have my cousin do it. I would love to know that stats versus, because we played the Seahawks a few times. I'm pretty sure he don't have a winning record versus the 49ers. Like, and to be honest with you, it's hard to believe we have a winning record versus the Cardinals, because every time we play the Cardinals, it feels like we lose to them. Whether the Cardinals are good or
I
bad.
don't think Dak has a winning record versus the Cardinals. If I'm shooting off the top
Yeah,
of my
like whether
head.
the Cardinals are good or bad.
Right. Because the last 2 years they beat us with backup quarterbacks. So
bro, I was at that game. There was a field goal that was like no good, and they called it good. And then there was one that was good for us, and they called it no good. Yeah, them refs were really cheating that game.
I mean,
I'm not just saying that. I was there, man, and then
Yeah.
they were calling everything on Dallas, and
Yeah,
I mean
it's
it was just ridiculous.
I think they just have our number for some reason. So
And that, I mean, we didn't play well either, but I mean, I'm not going to just blame it all on that, but it was pretty shiesty.
Dak is 1-3 against the Cardinals.
1-3.
I've never
Okay, that's
seen
what I
a
thought.
field goal be good, and then they say no
So
good.
he's 1-3. I'm trying to think what is his record. He probably 500 versus Seattle. Probably has a losing record versus San Fran. I think he probably has a winning
The
record.
only time
versus
I even
the
remember us beating San Francisco was the at home of when Tony Pollard did the
Tony
big
Pollard
screen.
game.
And
Right.
then we beat him his rookie year with Zeke. Remember, Zeke had the big
Right.
screen too. So that was two
Right.
times. Other than that, we didn't lose. We lost to
Right.
him twice in the playoffs. We lost to 2 playoff games, and me and Tuck was at the game.
Right.
We lost
So we
to
lost
the
2 in the
49er game.
playoffs.
We stood in that damn remember we stood in that damn,
Yeah,
I don't even know if
cold.
it was
Yeah,
water.
I got sick. Yeah, at the hotel.
Stood in that
man.
water. Stood in the water for an hour and a half waving at the bus. Then went to the game, got sick. Tuck almost died. I was so mad. I drove home the same night. Had a flight and drove home.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. So
yeah, Dak is he's 2-3 against the Seahawks. He's 1-3 in the regular season, but we beat him in the postseason. I remember that.
Right.
It's 2018, and then he's 2-5 against the 49ers.
See,
Yeah.
So I think the only team he has a winning record might be the Rams.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this right here. This is something people aren't really talking about, but like how they lay this schedule out is gonna be monumental for the Dallas Cowboys, bro.
I think people don't want to have that conversation early because I know
if they hit us with a bunch of teams like Tuck, if they hit us with a bunch of teams who like had success last year and they're just trying to like add on, like we need a bunch of teams that's still trying to figure it out at the beginning of the season. Like, and I'm happy that
if you think about it, Wes, that's what they did to us last year, bro. You know, they lined us up. So that's why I told people, right, when we get back from Vegas, we'll know what we really are, right? And we had boom, Philly, and then turned around the next Thursday and played the Chiefs. And then we had Detroit. And then, we didn't know Minnesota was going to be bad, but we still lost, right? Then Minnesota. And then you had they lined us up as soon as we got, so that was October-ish around Thanksgiving. They lined us up, bro. So they'll probably do that again. And here's the crazy part. The Giants will be improved and also the Commanders will be improved. If you're looking at this schedule, there's probably the Titans that I could close my eyes and be like, we're good. And everything else, we'll have to sit back and wait and see. You see what I'm saying?
If the best 3 games we could ask for right now would be like week 1, probably Giants.
Here, I don't want to. Here's the thing,
because
Wes.
you know them. Just because you know them, though.
But
You know what I'm
here's
saying?
the thing: we know them, but the Giants made us bloody week 2. You see what I'm saying? And that was the bad Giants, So I mean, I would probably want to play the Giants early because they won't have neighbors by then, so that would probably work in your favor. I know they're probably going to hold off that Green Bay game for Micah's return, so that'll probably be something late.
That'll be at the end of the season.
Yeah, like November or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Texans might be a holiday game, big Texas showdown, So
I feel like that Rams game might be early because they like us playing in California early.
Right, playing in California early. I mean, the Baltimore game's in Brazil, so everything kind of goes out the window there.
What about the Bucks? The Bucks would be cool.
The Buck. I think we can handle the Bucks, right? But the Bucks is offense. You know them. You know what I'm saying? They can get hot at any moment. So I just feel like when you look at it, there's not a lot of games where you can really sleep. You know, like it's just I feel like the Titans. You know, I want to say the Jags, but hell, you know what I'm saying? Last I played the Jags, we got punched on out there in Jacksonville. So who am I to, you know, I don't know.
I hope that
Right.
LA game's a night game though.
Hey, my
like a
last
Sunday
real
night or
question.
Monday night.
My last real question. All right, my last real question. All right, let's talk about our division. Start with we're gonna talk about. I want your thoughts on each team, and then I just want you to rank them. Then you good.
Oh man, you put me on the spot.
All right, so we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the team. And we're gonna talk. I'm gonna lead the Eagles for last. We're gonna start with Philly. Well, we're gonna start with the Giants. Start with the Giants.
All right.
What are your thoughts on the Giants? Are they improved, or you think they're gonna be better than they were last year, or are they gonna be worse than this year?
All right, so here's what I'll say, and this is what, you know, when me and the Cowboys fans might just take our split exit. All right. For the past few years until last year, right, I felt like the thing that I knew that I had in the division was one, I had a better coach. Mike McCarthy was better than, you know, Riverboat Ron. He was better than Nick Sirianni, and he was also better than Brian Dable. Okay. Now, if you're looking at things, that has changed. I cannot say that Brian Schottenheimer is a better coach than Nick Sirianni. I think that Sirianni's won a Super Bowl. I can't say he's a better head coach than Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn has went to the Super Bowl and took a rookie quarterback to the NFC Championship. And I damn sure can't say he's a better head coach than John Harbaugh. So now that that's changed, right? The other thing that I had was my
Super Bowl except for us.
Yeah, so you won a Super Bowl, right? So it's like now that has changed, right? So we're the young, unproven coaching staff on both sides of the ball, right? Then, as far as a quarterback is concerned, Dak is still, I feel like he's the best quarterback in the division, but it's not by the wide margin that it used to be, right? Where okay, the Giants ain't got a quarterback, you know, the Commander, like, so it's starting to, that window is starting to shrink. So, you know, when it comes to the Giants, I think that they're going to be leaps and bounds better than last year, right? They went and got Arvell Reese. They went and fixed their offensive line. They went and got Isaiah Likely. You know, I think once Cam Scatterbo comes back, Jackson Dart is going to be one of those ones. Now, hopefully he does hit a sophomore slump, you know, so I feel like their defense will be improved. I feel like Abdul Carter will be on another level this year because they'll know how to unlock them. So I think the Giants will be a scary team, especially when Neighbors comes back. So I think they're drastically improved. So for me, Wes, that's a team I'm definitely keeping my eye on, to be honest with you, the New York Football Giants.
All right,
Commanders, I feel like Jayden Daniels will be naturally improved as well. They still have some question marks at wide receiver. I don't like their corners per se, but they went and got Sonny Styles, right? And Sonny Styles, for us who know Dan Quinn, we know a safety that can play linebacker, that's 1,000% Dan Quinn, right? So I think it's a good fit there. You know, I feel like their running back game, they try to improve a little bit, but it's probably not as solid. Their offensive line still needs some help. So I still think Washington will be better than last year, but they're not the concern to me, to be honest with you. If I had to gauge who am I more concerned about, I would lean towards the Giants over the Commanders, if I'm being honest, as of right now, unless there's some more moves to be made.
And last but not least, the Jazz Eagles.
The Eagles, man. So I mean, at this point, they're actually scarier than what they're supposed to be because, you know, AJ Brown is still technically an Eagle, right? So you talk about Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Mekhi Lemon, you know, and then you add on, you know, Stowers, who I was high on coming out of Vanderbilt, along with Dallas Goedert. That's a lot of firepower. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, firepower. Now they get a new offensive coordinator, how that will actually translate. But overall, I think Philly, they're quietly flying under the radar for some odd reason. But if they can get Saquon Barkley back and they, I don't know, somehow spin it where AJ Brown's happy and they keep him for another year, and let's say Lemon's your wide receiver 3, kind of like when we had CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and, you know, and Mari Cooper, the Eagles can be scary. The defensive side of the ball, they're still young and hungry. They have guys that can go out there and hunt. You know, we know what Jalen Carter is. We know what those corners are. So I feel like Philly is still a very scary team in this division, if I'm being honest with y'all. I know that's what y'all don't want to hear, but
Hey, you know what's crazy? That I literally was on our show the other day with Boss Cowboy. I literally said the same thing. I was like, man, like if I'm Philadelphia right now, I'm trying to figure out a way for AJ Brown to chill out for at least one more year, bruh.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Like, because what are you going to get from the Patriots? What are you trying to
Right.
get?
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots are trying to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so, like, they're possibly like, what would the pay? They're not going to give you a player that diminishes their chances of winning a Super Bowl, and the draft is over.
Right.
So, what would you be asking for? If you know what I mean?
Unless they give you a first round pick in that division, hell, that might be pick 18, 19, you know, like above. So yeah, if I'm Philly, I'm with you, Wes. I'm trying to figure, hey man, just chill out and hopefully winning cures all, you know. But we'll see.
Right.
But
all right,
I
now,
mean,
rank
personally, the Cowboys fan, I want them to break that shit up. You know what I'm saying? I do, right? But you know what I'm saying? But if they keep AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and McCall Lennon, you know what I'm saying? And Eli's like, man, that's
That's Madden stuff.
That's a Madden team, right? That's a Madden team, you know, and I really don't know how you stop it, you know, to be honest with you, because they still got Saquon back there. So
you would have to hope that Jalen Hurts helps you in stopping it.
Right. And
if
that's the case, bro, they really have. If that's the case, if Jalen Hurts still struggles with that type of weaponry, bro, then he's probably going to be done. So, you know.
All right, now rank the division before you get out of here from top to bottom. Who's first, second, third, or fourth?
I got Philly 1, Cowboys 2, Giants 3, Commanders 4.
Okay, that really hasn't changed much. Just the bottom two.
Right? Yeah.
I think he's.
Are you putting Philly on top because of the possibility of if AJ Brown wasn't on this team? Would you still have them number 1?
I'm putting Philly on top because 1, yeah, I'm keeping AJ Brown, and there's 2, I just think they know who they are more than we do. Right. And I just think there's going to be bumps in the road. And if you look at the schedule, right, where's the opportunity for the Christian Parker learning curve? You see what I'm saying? Like it's not going to be,
I mean, that's a tough schedule.
If we could play like these 3 little away teams so we can find our rhythm and, you know, I don't see those. So Christian Parker has to hit the ground running. Right. And I just know as a young coordinator, there's going to be those games where you're going to get hit with what the hell was that, right? Brian Schottenheimer last year versus Minnesota. He said Brian Flores hit me with some stuff defensively. I don't know what he hit me. You know, so it's like there's going to be those games, but with this schedule, it doesn't really allow it. Like unless we start off week 1 versus the Titans or something, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, maybe but there's not a lot of those types of games. So I still got Philly at number 1. Now, if they do move on from AJ Brown, I think that could change things slightly for me. But I still think the Cowboys do have some issues that needs to be addressed before I can put them number 1 over Philly.
I mean, I'll say this, and this may be the fan in me, but like every year I look at the schedule, and when the season actually comes around, there's always an injury that happens. There's always a team that comes out of nowhere and surprises people. So I feel like one of those teams are going to collapse, and one of those teams are going to be good. One of those teams that we're doubting is going to be really good. That's just how I look at it.
Right. And we always lose those games. But here's what I will say, right? Like I said, I don't want to rain on Cowboys fans parade, right? We really didn't have a lot of adversity from an injury standpoint last year. You know, compared to the season prior, right, when Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer pretty much had me out there, right? So it's like, what does that look like for Brian Schottenheimer if you do have a makeshift offensive line? Like, can you still coach around that, right? What happens if you do have to win a few games without Dak Prescott? You know, could you Cooper Rush this thing? So, you know, there was a lot of adversity. Now, of course, I don't want that to happen, but you have to prepare yourself for impact. And I just think the schedule, just the way it looks without even seeing it lined up, there's not a lot of margin for error. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of room for error, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, we're going to be out in Oxnard for training camp 1st of August, and we are also going to be at VidCon. Have you heard of that before?
What's VidCon? I think it sounds familiar.
So it's where a lot of content creators go to just meet up, and they have like a show for 3 days. They rent out the whole downtown convention center in Anaheim.
Okay.
And it's pretty huge, man. And they have like food trucks and shows.
When is that?
A bunch of big content creators go out there, people with like millions of followers. And Yeah, my son has like 8,000 followers on his channel,
Okay.
and we're gonna go out there. I usually take the kids, but I'm trying to get more like sports people to start going. And
Okay.
last year, me and Chili Baby from the Gospel Gangsters, because I used to do Christian rap, so
Okay.
I was real big into the Christian hip hop scene, and
Okay.
we also did some music with some secular artists too. I don't know
Okay.
if you know who J.O. Felony is.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I can give it to you. What you gonna do with it, right?
yeah, we did
Yeah.
a song with him. We've done a song with some pretty big people, but I
Cool.
kind of stopped doing the music because I just didn't have time for it really, and I just started doing
Mhm.
my podcast, and so now I'm just really trying to get um, the Lord's kind of like what put this on my heart. It's not just about football; it's about faith and family as well.
Mhm.
So sometimes whenever I do my podcast by myself, I'll pray over people and stuff. I even pray over the players.
That's good,
But
man. That's good.
yeah, yeah, and my wife she's a woman of God too, and it's just awesome to be that God's using me in this way to I said one day maybe I might even be a minister for the Cowboys, you know what I
There
mean?
you go.
And I think Caleb Downs is going to start a revival in that locker room. I prophesied it. So,
Yeah,
and
man.
I was the
And
only
faith.
one wearing a Caleb Downs jersey at the Star in Frisco. We went to the draft last weekend, and
Uh,
everybody's looking at me weird thinking I was wearing a 49er jersey. And I was like, no, man, this is Caleb Downs. I had to turn it around like crisscross, had the
so
Downs on the
people can
front.
see it. Yeah.
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 And then all the news stations interviewed me. I was on the news. So I was
There,
my night of fame. It was pretty fun, man. It was
there you
all
go,
worth it.
man. It was all
But
worth it, man. What a
yeah,
night
we're
it
going to be
was.
out at VidCon. It's June 23rd through the
Okay.
28th or something like that in Anaheim. And then we will be at training camp. And I've already invited Lando, and West Coast will be out there because he lives out there. But
Right.
I'm inviting everybody. If you can break free and come, man,
Cool.
we'll have extra space. So
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool, man. Yeah, I think I'm set to come to Oxnard, but we'll see. Like it depends if the Cowboys do something that upsets me. I might change
last
it.
year
But
when we were out in Oxnard, we rented a hotel at the Hilton, and we
uh-huh,
ran into Trayvon Diggs. He was carrying some groceries in from Walmart
uh-huh,
with his girlfriend, and he was talking on her phone. I was like, "What's up, man? You mind if I get a little picture with you?" And I took a
yeah,
video with him and stuff. And then we went to the Cowboy game against the Rams. I'll be real quick, and
uh-huh,
they recognized me when we were at the game because we ended up getting some late tickets, and they were like right there on the field level.
uh-huh,
And so Trayvon Diggs came up to me and he said, "Hey man, me and Micah are hungry." And I was like, "Oh, okay, really?" And he was like, "Can you go get us some chicken strips?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So I went and got him some chicken strips, and Micah went over there with the towel and put it over the chicken strips,
uh-huh.
and walked over there with them. I don't know if that was the time they were talking about he was eating on the sideline eating nachos, but it was chicken strips because I had to
Uh,
run on the
so
other
you
side
the
of the
you to
stadium to get
blame,
them.
man.
And then right here, if you look at my shirt, bro, he came over. I got a video of it and signed it right here. Trayvon Diggs, right here on my Mike on the mic shirt,
Oh, that's crazy, man.
right here. And then he signed it. He was wearing his Diggs jersey that night.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
then, so it was just pretty cool that I ran into him. And then and then at the game, he came up to us, and it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So
I
every
mean, like I
time we
said,
go out, man, we have a great time.
I plan on being in Oxnard. We'll see, but I have fun in Oxnard, man. I'll be honest with you.
And
It's
I got to take
beautiful
a picture
weather.
with Nate Newton. That was an awesome thing
Oh, there
too.
you go. Yeah, Nate,
Yeah.
man. So it's good, man. Yeah, and I tell people I really want to go to Oxnard this year because I feel like the years I haven't gone in camp, I wasn't getting the coverage I needed. Right? There's a lot of people. Oh, so I let Matt Eberflus fly on the radar last year. So he snuck some stuff through. So I need to go see it with my own eyes and be like, nah, bro, this ain't gonna work.
That Hilton right there by the water, man, that's
Mhm.
the best place to stay if you're staying in a hotel. But usually when you get an Airbnb, they don't have no air conditioners
Yeah,
in the
Ah,
houses
that was
because
the
you
first.
don't need them.
Yeah.
that's horrible, man. Nah,
You
Yeah.
don't
I
need
need
it in
that.
Oxnard. It's so cool from the ocean breeze that you just
Yeah.
open the window, man. And I was like, "Ooh, it's cold in here."
I'm
Even
thinking
like,
about making a trip where I go to Oxnard, but I also want to go to Venice Beach, man. So I know because
Yeah, we
Cowboys
went
have
there
some
oh
too.
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to live in Orange County back in the day,
Okay.
but I live in Texas, Amarillo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so um,
Yeah.
are you do you live in Texas or?
Right. Kansas City, right?
Kansas City. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're in Kansas? Oh, you're not too far
Mm,
from Amarillo then.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like
So
6 hours from here. Yeah.
I'll probably, yeah. So I'll probably make it a
Tech
little trip.
9?
Yeah, Tech 9, man. City Tech, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you guys for having me on. We'll definitely link at camp if I go. You know, I'm trying to get to Brazil too, but my family's tripping about it.
Oh,
But
dude, that'd
we'll
be
see.
awesome, bro.
So
Oh,
yeah,
if you
Crazy
go
out
to
there.
Brazil, I need to get my passport.
yeah. There's like it's just too cuts because I was growing. I'm like, oh, I'll be all right. But
That's going to
we'll
be the
see.
game right there. And
Uh,
yeah, that's just a tough schedule. I mean, I'm looking at it, all of our opponents. NFC East is going to be the NFC beast this year. I have a feeling
right.
if everybody stays healthy, like you said. But if someone gets
Or
hurt,
hopefully it can turn to NFL NFC lease and we can just slide through there. Just all these
that'd be
division games
better.
are just
That
yeah. It's like let every
uh,
team in the NFC East
who's
just
even the
relapse. We kind
offensive
of just run through
coordinator
our
for the Eagles,
division.
though? Like this
Yeah.
year,
the former quarterbacks coach for Green Bay.
is he good?
I don't know. We'll see.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, yeah, man. I mean, the Texans game, the Colts game, the Seahawk game, the Rams game, the Bucks game. That's gonna be what's his name in revenge for not picking him for the Bucks.
Ruben Bain.
Ruben Bain, yeah, and
Yeah.
then you got Washington and New York. But I like what Caleb Downs said. He said all these teams that passed up on me, he go,
Right.
he was
Yeah.
growling, yeah.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, man, it's even the 49er game. I hope we finally beat the 49ers. Even
Yeah.
let's say our record's 10-7 and we barely make the playoffs. I hope one of those wins is against the 49ers and we finally beat them and we finally beat the Cardinals as well.
That would be big. That would be a big momentum change. So yeah, we'll sit back and wait
That
and see,
Texans
man.
game is going to be in Houston, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
game I think I want to go to because I usually go to two away games. I mean,
Uh-huh.
two home games and one away game every year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to go to that LA
I think I
game.
might see you there at the Texas one. We'll sit back and see. Like, if we start off 0-4, 0-5, then you doesn't seem to have much, but we'll see. But Texas one's definitely be fun to go to.
Absolutely.
Yep. I think we're going to go 10-7 or 11-6 this year. And Ken, what about you?
Yeah, like 10, 11 wins. I'm being optimistic this year.
12, maybe 12. What
Yeah,
about 12?
that's pushing it. I'm gonna give them 10, 11.
But the following year, 2027, you think we'll be better?
Everybody knows the scheme and everybody's well acclimated to the system. Yeah, so
It's gonna take. We're gonna have our growing pains, and then maybe towards the end of the year, our defense will start playing better.
Mhm.
But if they pick it all up right off the bat, because Caleb Downs is out there teaching them, and CP's out there teaching them, and you got great minds that think alike. You never know, man. They might pick it up
Mhm.
right away.
Facts.
So
We
we'll
shall
see.
see.
sir.
Get on that simulator at Texas Tech, man. Texas Tech has got a simulator with the big screen, and they
Uh-huh.
line up. You know what I'm saying? It's an indoor simulator. Have you seen that?
It's like a virtual reality thing.
No, it's like they just put up a big screen and the offense will line up and then they line up with it. You know what I mean? But the
Yeah,
players look real life size because it's like a projector on a big
Ah,
wall, like a movie theater.
yeah.
And
ah.
then they line up and they have like a football field, with the numbers and the hashes and
I'll have to
everything
look
that
that up.
lines up with the screen. And
Yeah, I
it
seen it on
looks,
Twitter. I'll send it to you.
but yeah, man, we'll get your number and we'll connect.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for joining. Y'all like, share, comment, and where can they find you at, J Tuck?
Yeah, you can find me on all social media platforms at jtuck151, and then my YouTube channel is CFO Sports. So we do a lot of film breakdowns. I think we're going to start doing our
We love 'em.
second year leap series here this week. So we'll talk about like players like Donovan Izaraku, Shamar James, like some of those guys, see if they can take a second year leap. And yeah, we just have a good time talking Cowboys content. So come on through. We appreciate you all.
Yes, sir. And you can find us at West Texas Cowboys Report, bringing you the latest and greatest news in West Texas. Thank y'all for joining today. And just remember, put God first in everything you do, and all these things will be added unto you. And He always wants to give you the desires of your heart. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Amen.
Peace.